Hello listeners, this is Comics Revolt's audio review number 3, and today I'm going to be reviewing Zack Snyder's new film Sucker Punch. Um, of his previous films, I'd only really seen 300 and Watchmen. I thought both were brilliant adaptations of the original source material, 300 of course being adapted from Frank Miller's limited series from Dark Horse about the 300 Spartan soldiers facing off against a 10,000 strong Persian army, and Watchmen being adapted from Alan Moore's seminal graphic novel. But Sucker Punch is Zack Snyder's first original work. Now, the story is kind of hard to explain because it's kind of a mind bender along the lines of Inception, but just with girls and guns. Um, it follows a story of a girl who we never find out what her name is, but she's called Baby Doll throughout the movie. Um, her mother dies, and her father abuses her physically. His father kills her daughter. His father kills her father. That's much better. Well done. Her father kills her sister and blames the death on her, and he commits her to a mental asylum. Um, and he pays one of the orderlies, who's known as Blue, to perform a lobotomy on Baby Doll so that everybody thinks that Baby Doll was completely insane and that she killed her sister. Hereby, he'll be inheriting the fortune of that her mother owned. Uh, from that point on, it just gets weirder and weirder. We cut to another reality imagined by the girls that Baby Doll and herself meet, um, wherein they imagine they're in a brothel, and Blue is the owner of the brothel, and the doctor that was working in the asylum is the dance teacher, played by none other than Carla Gugino, who just appears in probably every comic adaptation so far. I mean, she was in Sin City and Watchmen and God knows what else. And Blue auctions off the girls to clients based on how well they dance. So Baby Doll decides she's going to escape from this place because in 5 days the High Roller is coming, and in the other reality it was revealed to us that the High Roller will be the one performing the lobotomy on her. And so she devises a plan to escape, and what this entails is her dancing whilst her friends go around the brothel looking for the different clues that they need. But the interesting thing that Zack Snyder's done is we never actually see her dancing. Um, we hear about it and we learn about what she was like, but we never see her. Instead, we're transported to a third reality, wherein it's all video game bonzana from there on, and she imagines the different quests to find the different objects in different realities, if that makes sense. Um, so, for example, what did she have to find? She had to find a map, a key, a God, I can't remember. But she needs to find these four objects. Oh yeah, fire. That was one. Um, she needs to find these four objects to escape the institution. Um, on her way, she's gonna go to different realities. She goes to a samurai steampunk Japan place, which is where she learns what she has to collect. Then she goes to World War Two. World War One Nazi German trenches, which doesn't make that much sense. I know Nazis were only around in World War Two, so well, it is an alternate reality. Anyway, she also goes to a Orcs Lord of the Ring castle siege setting, and then finally to a um, future science fiction setting. Now, the thing that Zack Snyder has done with the characters is he's made it an an ensemble cast, meaning that each character's as important as the other. This isn't necessarily a good thing because whilst Baby Doll is definitely the main character of the movie, she her struggle is it doesn't seem as dangerous as it really is because all the other characters are given equal exposition. And whilst these characters are all interesting, we never really get to learn about them as much as we would like. Um, I'd be interested in hearing how Zack Snyder interprets these other characters and their take on the alternate realities, but he never makes it really clear that Baby Doll is sharing this reality with the others, or whether it's all in her mind. Um, I'm talking about the theatrical cut at this point. I know he's planning a Blu-ray director's cut, which I'll definitely line up for. Um, Now, in response to the other reviews that this film has got, they've given very harsh reviews. They say it's got lost all humanity. Zack Snyder's lost all humanity with this work. He's just resulted to girls and guns and short skirts. Um, I don't necessarily think this is an appropriate reaction to the film because in this film, Zack Snyder is satirizing the depiction of women in pop culture. Sounds like a bit of a stretch, but if you look at the film, it is there. I mean, these women, they're running from this depiction almost. They're in a brothel and they're trying to get out of the brothel. Um, so, although they are sexualized, it's done in a way that's kind of new. I've never seen women portrayed this way before. Um, the visuals of the movie are just out of this world. I can't really describe it. Each world is fully realized, and Zack Snyder's obviously put a lot of time and energy into the visuals uh, of this film. It's pretty much a female version of 300. Um, you've got your female warriors fighting against hundreds of villains, and they're flying everywhere and shooting everything and flipping and ducking, and it's really amazing just to behold. And the action sequences are similar to 300, and they're not conventional in that the shots are pretty much all one shot, and there's slow motion, and it's not hundreds of different cuts like you would expect in a Michael Bay film, which I think has around 2,000 cuts per minute or so, or not per minute, but per scene with those sequences. Um, and this is just really breathtaking to behold when you see it in Sucker Punch, because there was a particular scene which I'll take on my grave to me. It was amazing. Was when the main girls, they all go onto a train and they fight all these robots, and the scene is basically the camera is attached to Baby Doll's sword, and we just follow her sword slicing through all the robots. It sounds like it could be quite boring, but honestly, it's just amazing to see, and especially in IMAX, which is where I went to see it. It's one of those films that I think you really do need to see in IMAX. Um, Now, one complaint that I did have about the film was that Zack Snyder never fully realizes his vision with this film. I do believe that they cut over an hour from the film's running time, and that Warner Bros. Wanted it to have a PG-13 rating, which is why it was cut. Um, so I believe that Zack Snyder's original vision was an R-rated epic, and I believe that's what he's doing with the director's cut. I'm not completely sure, but I was saddened by the fact that it was PG-13 and that it was um, cut down because it's strange because it feels like it wants to be this film that's like 300, full of blood and violence, but filmed spectacularly. But it never quite gets there. It's kind of stuck in between. Like there are these scenes where there's a scene where they're running through World War Two, World War One trenches, and they're shooting these zombies. But the zombies are covered up in clothes, and they're run by uh, mechanics and whatnot. But instead of blood splatter, we see steam, which is interesting, but it's not as visually interesting as a blood splatter would be. Um, so I was a little bit disappointed at that. The cast are all they're all okay. No one particularly shines out other than Emily Browning. She does an all right job as the main character, but as I said, there's not really enough exposition on each character to fully allow the characters to fully allow the actors to realize their potential as these characters. Um, if you liked any of Zack Snyder's other films, namely 300 and Watchmen, then you're definitely going to like this film. Um, it's definitely going for stylization and visual style over content. But I mean, that's always what Zack Snyder's film technique has been. He's always been about telling a story through images and through music than through conventional sit down and let's talk. I mean, if you look at 300, there's barely a plot tying the film together. It's all told through visuals. I'm not saying this is a complaint. I actually think that the film works better because of this. I don't think it could have been working so well as a story-focused movie. Um, the story in this film, Sucker Punch, is a tool to show the visuals. So that's something that you need to realize immediately. Otherwise, I don't think you'll really enjoy the film. Um, but it's just Zack Snyder's world. There's very much video game influenced, and it's interesting to see these video game styles brought to the screen. Like these samurai warriors are larger than life, like you'd expect a final boss to be in a video game, and you never feel it in the video game, but on the screen they're absolutely terrifying. They're huge and they're screaming, and it's not a pleasant sight, believe me. Um, the music in the film is good. They use a selection of 1960s and 70s music, but the complaint I had was a lot of the music, they use covers instead. And whilst this is interesting, I would have preferred the originals. Emily Browning covers some Eurythmic songs and Iggy Pop songs, and she has a beautiful voice. She really does well. Um, but at some points, the music just feels displaced. It doesn't feel like it has any place in the movie. So, like, suddenly the samurais appears, and there's this heavy metal thrashing of guitars, and it makes me laugh a little bit because it's suddenly reduced to a video game, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but it doesn't work well in a film. Um, Other times I was thinking, wow, the music just perfectly fits the scene, particularly the opening scene. The opening scene is just a 4 minute music video. Um, and Zack Snyder does this quite often. He kind of incorporates music videos into his films, but the opening sequence was just amazing. It told the story through visuals like Zack Snyder does, um, and we just have this really haunting tune by the Eurythmics covered by Emily Browning playing over it. It's quite amazing to behold. Yeah, the music is good. I think that it was. I'm not sure about this, but I think it was composed by Tyler Bates. The original score was, and he has quite a style that's quite heavily influenced by, modern day punk and guitars. And he composed music for 300 and Watchmen, both of which was good. To wrap up, the film's amazing. The actresses, they don't really get a chance to show their worth. The villain's amazing. I guess I'll go into that later. Um, it's all very well made. Zack Snyder's definitely done a brilliant job, and I'll be looking forward to his future projects. Okay, I guess I'll see you later. Thanks for listening, and if you have any comments, post below. If you want anything specifically reviewed, just message me. Okay, bye.